Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today I thought I would do an overhead video sharing with you guys the palette, the new palette from Menagerie Cosmetics, the Indigo Ink. And I thought that the best comparison would be to the the other two palettes that they currently have in their collection, which is the Whale Song palette and their Violet Ink, because I know a lot of you guys wanted to see the Violet Ink one since it is discontinued. So I thought that this would be the best way to showcase this palette, just because I own every single Menagerie palette you could think of so far that they have released. And I went through every single one, and I believe that these two would be the ones that I would get the most questions of. I did go through quickly in my collection to see if there was any other palette that I owned that really had this type of color story, and I can't really say that I do. I can probably dupe all these shades within other palettes, like any other palette obviously, but not necessarily its whole entire color story unless I build it myself. So that's what I'm going to do today. I hope that is something that interests you. Obviously you're here for that reason, so let's get right into it. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of Japan. That is something that interests you. Subscribe, join us, and now let's get on with this swatch and comparison video. All right, you guys, so let's get the elephant out of the way. Yes, Mr. Man is weed whacking outside, right outside my window, so there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm sure you can hear it. It is what it is, and it's allergy season, so I may sound a little bit nasally, but I am drinking some lemon ginger tea to help my throat, because allergy season always kicks my butt, and if I don't take care of it, I get worse. So we're gonna go ahead and start it. As you guys can see, this palette is brand new. I literally just got it in the mail about 24 hours ago, so I haven't even played with this on my eyes. When this video goes up, I am almost sure you will see at least one look with this palette. I will be playing around with it for the rest of the week, so then I can share with you guys looks on my Instagram if you are interested. And then obviously I'll come back to give you my final thoughts on it. As you guys know, I am very familiar with Menagerie Cosmetics formula, so I have an idea what to expect and how to work with these shadows. But we'll see with this one. Now with this one, before I get into the comparison, I want to share a little bit with you guys. Obviously this is called the Indigo Ink. I can automatically tell a difference from these palettes is the shiny cover. I believe Flight Club may have this shiny cover. The other older ones have like a matte finish, and this one has a shiny finish. This one's called Indigo Ink, and I know there's a lot of disappointment in the fact that it doesn't have a lot of indigo blue shades in here. But when I think about it, the only explanation I have is maybe they were not only concentrating on the actual squid or what it releases as far as his ink color, but where he lives in the coral reefs and the ocean and the green algae and that kind of stuff. So that's my only explanation as to why they came up with this color story. You're gonna have to ask Menagerie about that. That's just me trying to figure it out, because I know that a lot of people are disappointed there's not that many blue in here. I did research what Indigo Ink is, like as far as the shade and whatever it is. My understanding is that squids are the ones that release blue, blackish ink, not octopuses, or I think there's another one. I forget what the other fish is, but it is a squid, so this has to be a squid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it is. So anyway, I'm going to swatch this whole entire palette for you at the end. But first, I'm going to share with you guys the very first palette that I want to share with you guys, because I'm sure this is the one that most of you are interested in, which is the Whale Song. All right, I had to put a piece of paper on top of the mirror because I didn't want to blind you guys and not to have anything else. So here's the Whale Song, and here's Indigo Ink. My assumption as the reason why they did not put so many blues in here is because they already have the Whale Song palette out, which has a number of different shades of blues. That's the only thing I can think of, and this way they wanted to expand as far as its environment of where squids live, what fishes are around them, so on and so forth. So I'm sure a lot of you guys will thought, well, maybe it might have been a Whale Song palette. As you guys can see, it's totally different. This is more of a blue-green with a little bit of beige to it, and this one's a little bit more colorful. I feel like these shades right here are more of a coral reef, and then over here you have more of like its environment, where it lives, what colors it may have. And the best part is that this is the first palette that they are releasing that has duochromes in it, shifting shades, chameleon shades. So I'm excited because none of their past palettes have had that. This is the first time. I'm pretty sure these two down here are definite ones. Maybe this one when we swatch it, or this one maybe, I don't know, but I can tell you right now just by looking at them. Oop, this one too. I'm leaning over and I could see that this one has a shift. So these three right here, I could tell you are probably the shifting shades. So that's one thing you're definitely going to get out of this palette. I will tell you guys up front that any Menagerie palettes that either have been discontinued or that you want to rearrange, you can. These are all magnetic, and they sell every one of these in individual shadows, including the ones that are discontinued. So if you wanted a palette that I'm sharing with you guys today and you want some of the shades to mix and match, you can still get the single. So technically they're not 100% discontinued because you still can get the singles. So I'm going to start out by swatching a few so you guys can really see if there is any same or different. Let me just shift this over so you guys can see kind of there. So I'm going to start off with obviously this green right here, which is called Nori in the new Indigo Ink. That is a very, very bright neon fluorescent yellow. That is a matte neon yellow green. It has green, so it's a yellow green. It's not just straight up yellow. Kelp from, see how I have to really be gentle with these shadows because they're very pigmented and powdery. But Kelp from the Whale Song is a lot deeper in its tone. If you want more of a deeper shade, I would go with that one. And then Plankton, which is more cooler toned, and it has a lot more beige to it than the Nori shade here. You guys can see that right there. So those are the three different greens that I would say go with Nori. Now let's move on to some blues, just so you guys can see some blues here. Inky Torpedo, that's such a cute name. Inky Torpedo is a blue shade in the new Indigo Ink. That's the color you would probably think of when you think of Indigo Ink. So at least they have one shade in here. I do see another one called Ink Blot. So I'm also going to swatch Ink Blot right under it so you guys can see that it's a little bit deeper. This one's a little bit more drying in its texture as well. So you can see right here, this one is Inky Torpedo and this one is Indigo Blot. Now the colors that I would think in the Whale Song would be Breaching, but this is a lot deeper. This is like a deep navy blue. There goes Leo barking, yay! And let's go with Barnacle here. Barnacle's a lot lighter blue, more like a oceany blue. Can you see that right there? So there are your blue. These two are from the new palette and these two are from the Whale Song palette. So if you're drawn to those blues, you might want to maybe skip on it. Look at my fingers. These are going to stain. But yeah, there are the blues here. Now let's move on to some of the greens, shall we? So some of these shimmery greens, I'm going to tell you right now, Splash from Whale Song, you might think, oh, that is so beautiful. Splash here from the Whale Song, and this is the new shifting shade. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Can you see that? This one's called Chromosphere, I think it is. Oh wow, look at that. It shifts. I don't know how well you could tell on camera, but it shifts from purple to green. That is stunning. Let me show you guys Ink Defense. Wow. This one's beautiful too. This one right here, can you see it's right there? It's like a blue and it shifts to purple. Wow, can you see that? I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but in person, it is beautiful. While I'm here, I might as well do Squid Pro Quo. Oh my goodness, this one's beautiful too. This one is a purple green. See that? It looks green. I can see green on camera, but then it shifts like to a burgundy red in different lighting. Can you see it there? Oh, it's so hard to do on camera, but it's so beautiful. Wow. This is really, really pretty. I can tell you right now, Mixing both of these palettes, the Whale Song and the new one, I think would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to mix and match the shades. These are beautiful. Look at my fingers. That is stunning. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is why this one's very unique, because of that shade. So let me wipe my hands and wipe this off and then continue to share with you guys a little bit more. I picked the perfect time to film, considering the outside noise. But what are you gonna do, right? I can't always have it perfect. All right, so the only other two shades I want to share with you guys is maybe this, what is this on? Citizen, I think it's called. This is a light blue in the Whale Song. Here are Small Spaces, which is more grayish toned if you look at it. So yeah, it's definitely more gray toned than the one in the Whale Song. This is in the new one. And then Tide Pool is a lot more aqua. So you can see it right there. Those are those three light blues that I would compare those three to. And you can see them right here. All right, let me see. This is the other one I didn't swatch. This is, ooh, that's another shifting one. I never swatched that one for you, forgot. This one's like your typical blue to purple shifting shadow in here. So I see that's the fourth one here. And then I want to show you Pearl from the Whale Song, which is very, very light. But Shell, yeah, is that one. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. That is a sheer orange, but when you swatch it, it looks like it's a yellowy green. Wow, that's a really cool one. Shell, yeah, so I see that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ones. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So yeah, this one's from the Whale Song. These two are from the new Indigo Ink. So again, I think that this one would be your closest bet. If you have the Whale Song and you are kind of just trying to dupe the vibes of the blues, maybe stick to your Whale Song. And you could possibly buy these shifting shades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those shifting shades, and just mix them in here if you'd like to incorporate them more with the blues here, because that's the vibe you want to get. You can also do that as well. So now I'm going to show you guys another palette, the only other palette that I think that most of you guys may possibly want to compare it with this one. All right, so here we have the Violet ink. As the name states, it is violet. So obviously the only really shade that I would see that would have any significance with this new Indigo ink would be Giant Pacific. But even Giant Pacific has more blue undertone and blue shifting than even Three Hearts over here. Again, this one is discontinued, but if you're interested in these specific shades, you can purchase these individually on their website. So you guys can see that these are total opposites of one another. I wouldn't necessarily say that they are duping each other or they're having the same vibes. So there's really no point of me swatching these, because as you guys can clearly see, the only similarities they have is in the packaging. In the packaging, they have the squid on there. This one has more of purple to it. This one has more of a blue guy on here, more blue. So that's really the only similarities between both of these that I would say they have. So if you're interested in the Indigo ink and maybe have the Whale Song, I think that's your best bet, is to look at the Whale Song, see if you can live without it. And if you want those shifting shades, you can just buy the shifting shades instead of spending the $45 and getting the other shades that you're really not interested in. That's up to you. You guys know that I absolutely love Menagerie, so I purchase every one of their palettes. I use them all the time. I think they're great. Love their color stories. Even this one, I could see how some can get stumped on it, but because of these shifting shades, it could change the way your eyeshadows look with whatever you pair it with. I think that it always makes it more fun with chameleon shades, because chameleon shades help to tie some of these shadows together. So now that I've compared them to you guys, like I mentioned, I don't have anything else in my collection that necessarily has this type of vibe. I have read and seen comments that the Dragon Child palette that Menagerie used to have before they changed their name to Menagerie Cosmetics, I believe their names was something Monsters. I can't remember what their name was, but I do remember their Dragon Child palette. And a lot of people said that their vibes are more along the lines of this palette, just that this one's a lot more vamped up. So if that is a palette that you own, maybe that might be something you might want to consider. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you guys can check it out and see if it is anywhere near this one. I don't personally own it. I wanted to wait until they changed their name to Menagerie and get their new palettes going forward from then, so I never bought it. But I do vaguely remember seeing some of these like lighter blues in here, darker blues, some of these colors like this, but I don't remember if they were shifting or not. So that's basically the difference. So now I'm going to go ahead and just swatch this whole entire palette for you guys so you guys can see if that's something that interests you and you're interested in getting it when they do restock. By the way, this is a permanent collection. Keep in mind they only have 2 people working. They are looking into adding more people to their staff to be able to restock more often. I know that it is frustrating when they sell out and it takes a little bit, but they are doing the best that they can, and I appreciate it because they always keep us in the loop. I believe they are restocking this palette in October, so keep your eye out for it. Do the notification. That's how I was able to get it, because it notified me that it was ready. I got on and I was able to get it without any hesitation. So now I'm going to go ahead and swatch this palette for you guys so you can see it in full action. So there you guys have it. Look at my hands, are completely stained. Remember that these are pressed pigments, so they will stain your fingers. If you are sensitive to staining on your eyelids, be very careful because they may stain your eyelids. I personally have never had an issue with staining on my eyes. I don't know if it has to do anything with my skin pigment or the products I use to take off my makeup, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I love this palette for the main reason that it has shifting shades. Whenever I see shifting shades, it just gives me that more diverse look, the look of switching it up more. Because if I were to pair one of these shifting shades with something else every time, it would shift that shadow to kind of complement the other shadows that I'm using with it. So I'm going to get multiple looks within that one shadow. Again, if you do not want this whole entire palette and just care for the shifting shades, you can just go ahead and buy those singles. 1 or 2, all 5, the whole palette, whatever it is. The only difference that you're getting out of here versus any other palettes are the shifting shades. I think the quality is exactly the same as I've always had with Menagerie Cosmetics, as you guys can see. Some of these swatch not as great as they do on the eyes. You have to keep that in mind. I know some of these blues I had to add a little bit to them, but on the eyes they will work. You have to just work with them, but they do work great. I've never had an issue with them. Do not use a tacky base with any of these mattes because they will stick to your eyelids. They will stick. Set it if you do use a tacky base. That does work for me as well. So that's all that I have for you guys. I know that some of you guys may be a little bit disappointed with the fact that you wanted this to be a little bit more blue. Maybe ask Menagerie why they did it. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader, so I can't even say why they did what they did, but I think it's beautiful. I am excited to see the looks that I'm gonna come out with. I can tell you that it's not gonna be the same old boring blue shadows, which makes me happy because that color right there is very exciting. I love the fact that they added a red, and I have a feeling if I pack this red on with this shifting shade right here, it's gonna be so cool. So I'm already thinking of thoughts or looks in my head to do, so stay tuned for those. And I will probably come back with you guys with maybe a palette bingo to really test myself out. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave down in the comment section which palette you think would be a good dupe for this palette. Maybe I might have it and I didn't even know about it. So that's it, you guys. I'll link it down below if you're interested. Until the next time, guys. Bye.